So here we have our lovely finished bodice. Bodice, we don't want to pin anything at all to the white. Now what we need to do is make sure that this is the outside of my skirt, okay? There, so I'm putting it so that the outside is facing down. This is the outside of my bodice. Again, I'm putting that so that is facing up, and then we're going to put it onto there so that when you turn your skirt over, that will be right sides to right sides, okay? So just once again, that one is on the bottom facing up, and this one is going to come in facing down. So take your placket, and your placket is going to go, and it's going to join on with this piece here, alright? So you want it to sit exactly one on top of the other, just like that. And pop a pin in it in the pin. And I have done some gathering, but whether it'll be enough remains to be seen. So I've got it all gathered to the right size now. Just going to come in now, join up that placket with the back of the dress so it's sitting exact like that. Can you see that? So that's my placket. Oh, that's not very good, is it? That's my placket there, and it's sitting exactly where the back of the dress is. Okay, just like that. There. Right, and then we're just going to come all the way around and pin this all the way around, making sure that gather is quite even all the way. So that fits into there, and then I'll pin it on, and then I'm going to just stitch all the way around that there. So now we're all ready to put these pieces on. They're all pinned beautifully. So what I want to do is make sure that I've got my ruffle on the top. I don't want to sew it onto the so I'm sewing it the other way. If you put the ruffle on the top, you're less likely to get a tuck, okay? So get that on, but we want to make sure that white is right out of the way. We don't want to sew any of the white onto it at all. Seems to have just got, that's better. There we go. So I'm going to pop that on, put that out of the way, and we're going to catch it right there on that placket. Sorry, I just knocked the camera, didn't I? Okay, and then we're just going to come in and we're going to take our time on this one going around, because there's a lot of bits and pieces here. Okay, just going to press that down with my fingers. Oh, don't get to your back stitch, sorry. That's it, and then go all the way around. That's and then the last little bit here, and then we'll do our back stitch. There we go, and that is that finished. That's that piece done. We've got it all stitched onto the skirt there. It's all sitting nicely. Been around and I've checked that there aren't any tucks or anything, and everything's sat beautifully there. So now we're going to come in and we're going to do this piece. We can just, where we've got that fold, we can just fold it over the whole thing, the whole way along. Push that little piece up there like that, and then you can just come in and you can just hand stitch this all the way along. So I'm just going to sit here in bed and finish off this dress. And what we're going to do is we are going to stitch in to that bottom of those stitches there, so just under those stitches. So I've got a knot in the end of my cotton. I'm going to come along and we're just going to do some tiny little stitches. So I'm just going to go in and out through the fabric like that, catching that side, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to catch a little bit of this fabric on this side, and I'm going to push my needle along a little bit, just like that. Pull it out. Got a very small needle here today. and then move on to the next bit. Okay, so I've been all the way along to the end now, and I'm just going to tie a knot. Get that in there, and then I'm going to take the end of the needle. I'm going to put the needle, and I'm going to push it right up inside that white piece, like that, and push it out of there. And then I'm going to pull that little knot up through, so you won't actually get to see any of it at all. So we'll just pull that up there, and that's gone up inside, and that's sat in there nicely. And then I'll just trim that off. So now what I'm going to do is just to go around the whole thing with my quick unpick and my scissors, and just take off any long ends. Okay, so just come in here. Now I've got a gauge. This is a gauge, and it just tells you where to pop your buttonhole lines in and mark it all up. So I'm coming in from this first one, and I'm just going to come in from the top and put it here. So my first one is going to be here, okay, and then I'm going to come in, then I'm going to put that down out the way, so that will come in like that. I'm going to put that on there, and then I'm going to put the rest of my buttonholes in at every 2 inches, like that. Okay, I'll just do that last one. Do we need a, yes, I think I do need another one, and it's just going to come just down to there, so I'm going to pop it in there on the placket. Okay, so just mine just comes off like this. So if you've got one which has got one of these little feet on it, it's got like a metal bar there, and you can just slip that underneath your bar. Obviously don't get this one, this type of buttonhole thing, if yours doesn't attach to it. You need to get the one which is the same sort of style as your machine. Okay, so I'm going to change my setting to a buttonhole setting, and then I'm going to bring down my buttonhole foot, put it in behind where my buttonhole needs to go. So right in there, okay, that's in there. And then I'm going to bring in my dress, so it's lined up with the side. And I find that if you can do that on your buttonholes, it does work really well. And then we're going to bring it in so it's just about to the edge of my button. Now this is how I do mine, okay? Every foot and machine is different, as you know, so this might not work on yours. What I would suggest you do is get some fabric, play around with the fabric, and get the buttonhole to go in on the way which works for your machine. Okay, so mine is in. I've got that, and I'm just going to hold on to this top piece of cotton for a second, and then I'll start us off. And basically you don't have to do anything really with this, just guide it. So all you really need to do is keep your hand here and just help guide it so it doesn't move out too far. It should do its own thing. It's coming back down again. Back up the other side. And there we go, one buttonhole. So I'm putting my buttonholes at every 2 inches. Okay, and I'm going to pop it into the end of my buttonhole just before where those last stitches are, like that. And I'm just going to come in with my seam ripper, and I'm going to rip this piece. Go in like that. There we go, and then just push it right the way along. There we go. Okay, so that's your buttonhole made. Take your pin, bring it to this end, put it in exactly the same as you did before. There we go, and then pop it and just loosen that end as well. Okay, and then come in, push it all the way through to the back, and just remove any loose white ends there. You don't want them coming through. So just go along. You don't want to cut into your stitches. So I've threaded a needle, and I'm just going to try a knot. So we're going to come in through the front, and we're just going to stitch this button on here like that. Okay, I'm going to put a couple stitches in there, and I'm not going to go through the back of that at all. What you can do is just do one small stitch this end, really small stitch like that, teeny one, and that will just hold that there. Okay, those two pieces together. All right, and then we're just going to stitch the whole button on the top. So thread my button into it, and then we're just going to do about 8 stitches just to hold that in place. So 1, or whatever you usually do when you sew in a button, 2 through the center, another one, 3, make sure you sew them on nice and tightly, because if you've got a smaller child, we don't want the buttons coming off and then being able to get them in their mouth. I think that's 4. 5. If you feel your needle going through the back piece of the fabric, just pull it out and start undo it again. 6. 7. Last one. And 8. Okay, alright, and now we're going to just tie a knot. I'm going to come right in here, right close to where that button is. Tie a knot. I'm going to come in through the twisted piece, place your needle in through that twist, pull it down slowly, make one nice knot. Twist it like that, put your needle through it, pull it down like that, and then once you've got that nice knot and it's nice and secure, you're going to take your needle and you're going to poke it right down, but you don't want it to come through that yellow side, alright, the white side, sorry, and push it right through the fabric like that, alright, and then we're going to pull it out, and then I'm going to give it a little small tug, and that will just get rid of that knot and put that knot inside. Okay, give that a little snip, and that will be our dress finished, and I will show you the finished product. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.